Suffering, he thought of Tripitaka. In adversity, he recalled the holy monk. He cried out with a loud voice, "O Master! I remember how you went to the Mountain of Two Frontiers to lift up the tape that had me pressed down, and it was then that Old Monkey escaped his great ordeal to embrace the vow of complete poverty. Thanks to the Bodhisattva, I was given the Dharma decree, so that you and I could stay together and practice religion together, so that we would be brought under the same affinity and attain the same enlightenment and knowledge. How should I expect that we would run into such a demonic obstacle here, and that I would be pinned down again by his mountains? Oh, pity it all! You may be fated to die, but pity Sha Monk, 8 rules, and the little dragon who took all that trouble of changing into a horse. Truly, as the saying goes, a tall tree beckons the wind will rock the tree. A man lives for his name will wreck the man." When he finished this lamentation, tears rained down his cheeks. All that noise, however, immediately disturbed the mountain god, the local spirit, and the guardians of 5 quarters, who came together with the golden-headed guardian. The last one said, "Whose mountains are these?" "Ours," said the local spirit. "Do you know who it is that you have pinned down beneath the mountains?" "No, we don't," said the local spirit. "So, you don't know," said the guardian. "But he happens to be the great sage, equal to heaven, the pilgrim Sun Wukong, who caused tremendous disturbance in heaven 500 years ago. Now he has embraced the right fruit to follow the Tang monk as his disciple. How could you permit the demon to borrow these mountains to pin him down? You are as good as dead. If he ever finds release and comes out, you think he'll spare you? Even if he lets you all go lightly, the local spirit will be demoted to an attendant in a post house, the mountain god will be banished to military service, and even we will be placed under a terrible obligation." Only then did the mountain god and the local spirit become frightened. They said, "We really didn't know. All we heard was the spell for moving mountains recited by the demon, and we transferred the mountains here. How could we know that it was the great sage Sun?" The guardian said, "Don't be afraid now. The law says the ignorant will not be held culpable. You and I can discuss the matter and see how we can release him without making him beat us. This is becoming rather ridiculous," said the local spirit. "Will he beat us even after we have released him?" "You have no idea," said the guardian, "that he possesses a compliant golden hooped rod, a most powerful weapon indeed. One stroke of it means death. One touch, a bad wound. A small tap, and the tendons snap, a tiny brush, and the skin collapses." Growing more and more alarmed, the mountain god and the local spirit had a discussion with the guardians of 5 quarters before walking up to the front of the 3 mountains and crying, "Great sage, the mountain god, the local spirit, and the guardians of 5 quarters have come to see you. Dear pilgrim." Though he might be like a lean tiger at the moment, his prowess remained. When he heard the announcement, he replied at once resolutely in a ringing voice, "Why do you want to see me?" The local spirit said, "Allow me to report this to the great sage. I ask your permission to move the mountains away so that the great sage might come out and pardon the crime of disrespect unknowingly committed by this humble deity." Pilgrim said, "Move the mountains away. I won't hit you." When he said this, it was as if an official pardon had been announced. The various gods began reciting their spells, and the mountains were sent back to their original locations. Once released, Pilgrim leapt up. Shaking off the dirt and tightening up his skirt, he whipped out his rod from behind his ear and said to the mountain god and the local spirit, "Stick out your shanks. Each of you will receive 2 strokes so that Old Monkey may find some relief for his misery." Terrified, the 2 gods said, "Just now the great sage promised to pardon us. How could you change your word, now that you have come out, and want to hit us?" "Dear local spirit, dear mountain god," said Pilgrim, "you are not afraid of Old Monkey, you are afraid of the monsters instead." The local spirit said, "Those demons have vast magical powers. With their incantations and spells, They would summon us into their cave and we would have to take turns to be on duty. When Pilgrim heard these two words, on duty, he, too, was quite shaken. Lifting his head to face the sky, he cried in a loud voice, "O azure heaven! Since the division of chaos and the creation of heaven and earth, and since the flower fruit mountain gave birth to me, I did search all around for the enlightened teacher to transmit to me the secret formula for longevity. Think of it, I can change with the wind, tame the tiger, and subdue the dragon. I even caused great disturbance in the celestial palace, and acquired the name Great Sage. But I never dared to be so insolent as to order a mountain god, or a local spirit around. These demons today are truly lawless. How could they be so arrogant as to make the mountain god and the local spirit their servants, forcing them to take turns to be on duty? Oh heaven, if you had given birth to Old Monkey, why did you give birth to these creatures also?" As the great sage was thus sighing, he saw in the distance beams of light rising from a mountain valley. "Mountain god, local spirit," said Pilgrim. "Since you have been on duty in the cave, you must know what objects are those emitting the light. They must be the luminescent treasures of the demons," said the local spirit. "Some monster spirits, I suppose, are coming with the treasures to subdue you." Pilgrim said, "This is a lot more fun. Let me ask you quickly, who would socialize with them in the cave?" The local spirit said, "Those they love are persons who heat the cinnabar and refine the herbs. Those whom they delight in are the Chonjun Taoists. No wonder he changed into an old Taoist to lure my master away," said Pilgrim. "Since this is the case, your beating will be deferred for the moment. You may leave, let Old Monkey himself catch them." The various deities rose into the air and left. This great sage shook his body once and changed into an old adept. How was he dressed, you ask? His head had 2 buns of hair. He wore a clerical robe. His hand struck a bamboo fish. A Master Lu sash circled his waist. Reclining by the main road, he waited for the little fiends. In a while the fiends arrived. The Ape King released his tricks. In no time at all, the 2 little fiends came before him, and Pilgrim stuck out his golden hooped rod. Unprepared for this, one of the little fiends tripped on it and fell. Only when he scrambled up did he see Pilgrim. "Villainy! Villainy!" He began to cry. "If our great kings didn't have a special fondness for your kind of people, I would scrap with you." "What's there to scrap about?" said Pilgrim, smiling amiably. "A Taoist meeting a Taoist, we are all in the same family. Why did you lie here?" said the fiend. "And cause me to stumble?" Pilgrim said. "A Taoist youth like you, when you run into an aged Taoist like me, must take a fall. It's a sort of substitute for presenting an introductory gift." The fiend said, "Our great kings only demand a few ounces of silver as introductory gifts. Why do you insist on someone taking a fall? This must be the custom of another region, and you can't possibly be a Taoist from around here." "Indeed, I'm not," said Pilgrim. "For I came from Penglai Mountain," the fiend said. "But Penglai is an island in the territory of immortals." "If I'm not an immortal," said Pilgrim. "Who's an immortal?" Turning all at once from anger to delight, the fiend approached him and said, old immortal. We are of fleshly eyes and mortal stock, and that's why we can't recognize you. Our words have offended you. Please pardon us. I won't blame you," said Pilgrim. "For as the saying goes, the immortal frame does not tread on ground profane." "How could you know?" "The reason why I have landed on your mountain today is that I want to enlighten a good man to become an immortal, to understand the Tao. Which of you is willing to follow me?" Sly Devil said, "Master, I'll follow you." While Wily Worm also said, "Master, I'll follow you." Though he knew the reason already, Pilgrim nonetheless asked, "Where did you two come from?" "From the Lotus Flower Cave," said one of the fiends. "Where are you going?" "Our great kings have ordered us," said the fiend. "To go capture Pilgrim's son." "To capture whom?" asked Pilgrim. "To capture Pilgrim's son," said the fiend again. Pilgrim said, "Could it be Pilgrim's son, the one who's following the Tang monk to seek scriptures?" Exactly, said the fiend. "You know him too." "That monkey is rather rude," said Pilgrim. "I know him all right, and I am a little mad at him. I'll go with you to capture him. We'll consider this my assisting you in making merit." "Master," said the fiend, "no need for you to assist us in making merit. Our second great king has considerable magic powers. He summoned 3 huge mountains and had that monkey pinned down, unable to move even an inch. He then told us to come with treasures to store him up." "What kind of treasures?" asked Pilgrim. Sly Devil said, "Mine is a red gourd, while his is a pure jade vase." "How do you plan to store him up?" asked Pilgrim. The little fiend replied, "Turn my treasure upside down so that its mouth will face the earth and its bottom the sky. I'll then call him once, and if he answers me, he will at once be sucked inside. I will then seal the treasure with a tape bearing the words, 'May Lao Tzu act quickly according to this command.' In 1¾ hours, he will be reduced to pus." When Pilgrim heard that, he said to himself in secret alarm, "Formidable! Formidable!" Previously the Day Sentinel said that they had 5 treasures, and these must be 2 of them.